Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the fully enlightened Buddha, the worthy one, the blessed one. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today I would like to have a discussion with you regarding one sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. Majjhima Nikaya is the middle-length discourses, and there are many topics and many dharma facts in this Majjhima Nikaya, the collection of middle-length discourses. So the sutta, the discourse I have chosen today is Ghatikara Sutta. So Buddha and his main attendant, Ananda, and group of monks were traveling in the Kosala countryside. And Buddha came to a place and he made a small smile on his face. The Venerable Ananda, who was traveling with him, has noticed that Buddha has smiled. He knew that when Tathagatas, the Buddhas, the enlightened ones, will not smile without a reason. So then the Venerable Ananda invited Buddha to explain why he smiled. Then Buddha said, this area before, about eons or millions of years ago, before our Gautama Sakyamuni Buddha, there was a previous Buddha called Kassapa, the fully enlightened Buddha. So during that time, the Buddha Kassapa, his main disciple, has lived in the same area where Buddha was traveling at that moment. And Buddha said, here was the monastery or the temple Buddha Kassapa lived. And he had a great disciple called Ghatikara, and his this area was called Vebalinga at that time. So this Ghatikara means, Ghati means maybe pots, Kara means person who does the pottery, and he was a very innocent, but he has reached to the level of Anagami, non-returner, and he was a very devoted and very dedicated attender or the supporter of the Buddha. And it is said that this Buddha, this Ghatikara, had a friend called Jyotipala. Ghatikara, according to the Indian caste system, Ghatikara is considered a lower caste, and Jyotipala, of course, he was a Brahmin. But despite their caste differences, Jyotipala and Ghatikara were really good friends. And one day, this Ghatikara and Jyotipala was walking around, and this Ghatikara invited Jyotipala to go to the temple, to the monastery of the enlightened Buddha Kassapa, and listen to his teachings. Do you know what is the answer for this suggestion? The Jyotipala was quite arrogant and fried person, and he was not ready to listen to the Dhamma of the Buddha. So he rejected. Not only he rejected, he said some derogatory, some kind of blame to his friend Ghatikara. He said, what is the use of seeing these bald-headed monks? What can we learn from them? Why should we go to them? This is his response. But as a good friend, Ghatikara never gave up. He continuously, without giving up, without disappointed with the answer of the Jyotipala, he insisted, he invited another 2 rounds. For the second time, for the third time, he invited Jyotipala, let's go, shall we go? Shall we listen to the Dhamma of the Buddha? Nevertheless, this Jyotipala did not agree with this suggestion. So, but the Ghatikara had a good strategy or some kind of plan in his mind. He suggests, oh, let's forget it. Let's go to have a bath. So, where they were at that moment, there was a river flowing nearby, and both friends, Ghatikara and Jyotipala, went to the river, and they had a nice swim and a bath in the river. While they are having bath, Ghatikara again suggested, maybe the temple of the Buddha, the monastery of the Buddha, was much closer and near to the river, and the Ghatikara said, my friend Jyotipala, shall we go to see the Buddha? And again, the same answer, what is the purpose of seeing these bald-headed recluse or monks? Why should we go and meet them and pay reverential salutations? Why should we meet them? This kind of answers came continuously. For the second time and third time, he did not agree for the suggestion. But Ghatikara did not give up. He hauled the Jyotipala from his belt and asked, shall we go to see the Buddha? Again he is rejected for the fourth time. On the fifth time, after having bath and washed the hair, he hauled the hair of the Jyotipala and asked, you must go to see the Buddha. He insisted and encouraged. And at that moment, kind of insight came into the mind of the Jyotipala. Because Jyotipala is high caste person and Ghatikara is a low caste person. According to the Indian tradition, it is not proper and appropriate to touch high caste people, especially their head, especially their hair. But in other case, if this were not Ghatikara, the Jyotipala would have killed him or banished him from the village because he touched the high caste person's head or the hair, what is the one most important place of the body. But Jyotipala's thinking was different. He thought there must be something important, there must be something miracle. That's why he is insisting so many times, inviting me so many times to see the Buddha. Then he said, since you are insisting, since you are emphasizing the importance of seeing the Buddha, I will agree with you. Shall we go and see the Buddha? That was his response. So accordingly, both of them proceeded to the temple, went to the temple and pay homage to the Buddha, and the Ghatikara introduced, this is my good friend, Jyotipala, he is a Brahmin, he is a good fellow. Venerable sir, please teach him some good teachings so that he can understand the nature of the life, nature of the samsara, and can understand something. When this was said, the Buddha taught them very nice teaching, which is lovely in the beginning, lovely in the middle, which is lovely at the end. And Buddha encouraged them to understand and emphasize the meaning and explain in many ways with many similes. So Jyotipala was fascinated with the teachings of the Buddha. And then he came out of the preaching hall and discussed with the Ghatikara. Hey, my friend Ghatikara, why don't you become a monk? It's such a nice teaching, such a good teaching. Why don't you become a monk? Then the Ghatikara said to the Jyotipala, don't you remember? I have blind parents. I cannot leave them. There's nobody to look after. So I have to take care of them so very nicely. Why don't you become monk? He suggested instead. Then the Jyotipala said, yes. I don't have such obligations. I am quite free than you. So I will get the ordination. Then both of them went to the Buddha. And Ghatikara explained, my good friend Jyotipala is wishing to become a monk. And could you, Venerable Sir, kindly give him the ordination? And Buddha gave him ordination. After another 2 weeks, he became high ordinated, fully ordained monk. And from this Webelinga, Buddha started to travel to the other city where this kingdom's ruler, his name was Kiki, King Kiki, was living at that time, the present Varanasi of the India. And this Kashyapa Buddha went to this big city. And having heard that Buddha and his retinue of monks has come to the kingdom, his capital city, king was delighted and he was very happy. So he went to see the Buddha and meet the Buddha, has a discussion with the Buddha about Dhamma, and he was so pleased. He was so happy. He was so elated. And he invited Buddha and his companion of monks, "Oh, Venerable Sir, I would like to offer almsgiving or dana tomorrow morning. Would you kindly please accept my humble invitation?" Buddha accepted this invitation silently, approving his invitation. And following day, Buddha went to see this Kiki's palace to receive his almsgiving. Then once Buddha was offered this dana, lunch dana, and then the King Kiki was so pleased with the way the monks conduct and the way the Buddha's preaching, and he invited, "Venerable Sir, I have an idea, I have a wish. If you permit me, would you please stay in our city, bless our city, and spend the rainy retreat in our Kiki kingdom or this city?" Then the Buddha said, "Enough, king. I was invited to have the rainy retreat in another place. Unfortunately, I cannot accept your invitation." For the second time and for the third time, King Kiki invited again and again and again. But the Venerable Lord Buddha, Kassapa Buddha, has rejected. Then the king was quite thoroughly disappointed with this rejection, and he told the Buddha, "Do you have a better supporter than me? I am the king of this country. I have so much wealth. I have so much resources, so much person to look after you. Is there a better option, better supporter than me?" Then Buddha said, "Yes, there is. King, oh king, don't upset. I have a disciple in the village name called Webelinga, a one devotee called Ghatikara. He is very devoted person. He is really dedicated to the teachings, my teaching. And he is abstained from killing any living beings. He is abstained from stealing. He doesn't do any sexual misconduct. He doesn't say any lie. And also he doesn't take intoxicating drinks and drugs. And really, he is a really pious person. And of course, he has unwavering faith in the Buddha. In Pali it is called avecchappasada. Unbreakable, unshakable, unwavering faith in the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. And also he reached the level of non-returner, anagami, those who have destroyed lower 5 fetters, kama chanda, sensual pleasures, vyapada, anger, and sakkaya ditthi, view of self, and attachment to rites and rituals. These 5 fetters, if you have eradicated, then they will not reborn in the human world, they will reborn in the Brahma world. And also, he is virtuous, and also he lead a life of celibacy. He don't marry, and also not only that, he look after his own parents very well. And he is a pot maker. He doesn't touch gold and any other valuable things. How does he live? He lives in a very simple way. He even do not dig the soil in order to make the pots. How does he find the soil? He go to near the canals and rivers where there is a washed away soil that is falling from the ground, or the dogs who have dug holes, or rats or mongoose have made holes. So he collect those soil and make the pottery. And when he make the pottery, he keep his potteries outside his home near the gate, and whoever want to take this pottery can take, and they should return some rice, lentils, dals, beans, things like that, so that he can cook and look after his parents. And he will be reborn in the Suddhavasa. So one time Buddha said, I went to his home, and at that time his blind parents were living. He has gone to outside somewhere to find clay or find some other things. So when I go home, the parents told me, there is rice in the cauldron, there are sauces, curries in the saucepan. Could you kindly go to the kitchen and serve yourself? And when Buddha Kassapa went to the kitchen and take the rice and the curries himself and ate inside the house and transfer merits to parents and blessings, and he went away. Once this potter returned to the home, he noticed that the curries and the rice he cooked was missing. He asked from the parents what has happened to them. Then they said Buddha Kassapa came and we asked him to serve himself, and he had the lunch here. So he was so happy, he was so elated, he was overjoyed. And he said, oh, what a great gain for me. Oh, what a great gain for me. It is indeed a blessing. So Buddha has a confidence about me so much. That is why he went to the kitchen and take the rice from himself. So let me, he was so happy, and his happiness remained for half a month, and his parents' happiness remained for 1 week. They were so joyed. And another occasion, the monk Buddha went there and this potter was not there, and Buddha served the porridge and some other food from the kitchen. And the parents asked to do so. And when he returns, he got to know that Buddha has come and served food himself, and he was again so happy. He said the same thing. It's a great gain. It's a great profit for me. It's a great good moment for me. He was so happy that Buddha came and shared the food which he cooked, served by himself. And when another occasion, the Buddha's kuti, the cell where Buddha lived, his roof was not good, and during the rainy time water was leaking. Then he asked monks to go and find some straw or some grass to cover. Then they search, and then they come back and told the Buddha, there is some hay straw in the potter's workshop. Then Buddha said, go and collect them, and he bring. And when the potter came to notice that his straw was gone, and asked from the parents who took it, then they said the monks came and took it for the Buddha. And again he was so happy. Nearly 3 months he was happy. So, Buddha was helping me so much to create merits for me. So in this sutta, we have to learn many things. One is the Buddhist attitudes to Buddhism. We Buddhists must bring new people to Buddhism, encourage our people to teach and share this wisdom of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha to the other people. We are very passive. We are not introduce our teachings to the other peoples, those who are interested and those who are not interested. Let's work together and teach the valuable teachings of the Buddha and make the Buddha's teaching available to the people who don't know it. Explain them it. Ask them to come to temple and invite them to study and discuss the Dhamma, which is very harmless if they are happy to open-minded. If they are lucky enough to be open-minded, they haven't become so blinded by the faith. So there are many things. You don't need to become a Buddhist, but still you can learn many things from the Buddhism. Secondly, this effort that is shown by the Ghatikara is great, because he never give up. Maybe he tried 6, 7, 8, 9 times to introduce Buddhism to the Jyotipala. So this is very important. When we are making trying in our life to achieve some goals, to do something, we should not give up in one instance or one effort, one turn. We must try to get it done many times. Should not give up. Should not discourage because we have some hindrances, some difficulties, some problems. We should not give up, and we should not stop on the way. We must reach our goal. Until we reach our goal, we must keep trying. And when this king heard that Ghatikara was such a devoted Buddhist, and he was so happy, and he sent 500 cartloads of rice, curries, spices, other cooking utensils, oils to the Ghatikara. But when he received, he humbly rejected the king's offering to make maybe dana, the food offering to the Buddha, but he did not accept them. He returned them. So it shows that Ghatikara was contented with what he has. He is not greedy. Okay, the king has sent me so much, I should make use of it, I must get rich. No, he didn't think like that. He was so self-satisfied. So therefore, friends, in Buddhism, it is very important for us to learn Buddhism and practice Buddhism. And also, equally, it is very important for us to introduce Buddhist teachings, principles to our fellow friends so that they can understand and appreciate the good teachings of the Buddha. So may the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha guide you, protect you and bless you.